All right, guys. So, unless you've been living under a rock, you probably have been witnessing what I like to call is Kanye's epic crash out. And what this essentially is for some reason, Kanye West just woke up and decided that he's going to unleash and let out everything that he had on his mind. And in doing so, he said some pretty egregious things. I'm not even gonna lie. He said some really wild things. Some things that I agree with. Some things I get where he's coming from. Some things I wish he had never said. Some things I just think that is just a really bad look for him. And I think that when we look at people like Kanye West, right? The people that need attention and you you know that he needs attention because why else would he go and let's just be honest, guys. Did you see the Grammys? I didn't watch the Grammys, but I did see that when he went there with his wife, Bianca Sensory, and with Bianca Sensory, what he did is he either allowed or encouraged her to basically drop her drop her covering. And I guess in the way that the Bible used to describe it, to uncover her nakedness. And that's what's going that is what happened. And when you look at Kanye West, because obviously everything that he's saying on social media, it is a cry for attention. And it's I guess a desperation to stay relevant. And for whatever the reason, I mean, I'm not. You do whatever you want. I mean, Kanye West. I mean, the debatably is one of the most brilliant men to ever come out of the black community. You hate him or love him, and I say that because when you look at what he's done, what he's managed to accomplish, crazy crash outs aside, Kanye West is an icon in the community. That's the truth. Now, the bad part of that is that Kanye West has nobody around him that can tell him the truth. Kanye West doesn't even allow anybody around him that can tell him the truth. And sometimes that truth is that, hey, buddy, maybe it's not such a good idea to say the things that you're saying. Maybe it's not such a good thing to basically say F the dead. Maybe it's not such a good thing to just be, what I mean, just going on these belligerent rants when you have a brand and image to protect. Yes, we have a right for free speech, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't exercise wisdom and discernment on what you should and shouldn't say, or when you shouldn't say, when you shouldn't say something. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think it's funny. I think it's funny, but I also think it's sad, and I know why people are bothered and disturbed by it. And I think, but when I say that I think it's funny, I do think it's funny because I think that Kanye West is just, I mean, this is still the same guy that to me is still the same guy that got on national TV and said George Bush don't like black people. Had Chris Tucker and all them in there shook. Still the same guy to me. So I think it's funny because I like a good rage out. I like a good crash out. I like a good rant. Do I think? But like I said, I think that Kanye is going too far, and I think that he needs somebody around him that is willing to speak up. But it's probably not even that he doesn't have people that aren't willing to speak up. It's that he removes anybody who is willing to speak up. And he even said it himself in his tweets. He said, "If you anybody that's around me that isn't aligned with my agenda and furthering my agenda, then is basically f you." And I, I don't know. It just I think that Kanye is an interesting character. I don't think that Kanye has any mental illness. I don't think that Kanye has any he's on any spectrum. I don't think that he has Asperger's where he can't control himself. I think Kanye is just a narcissistic dude who just doesn't have any scruples. He doesn't have any scruples. He feels like he can do and say whatever, and for some reason that seems to work out for him. But that doesn't mean that doesn't mean that Kanye is right all the time. He's not. And this is a situation where he's not in the right because I mean, what do you even get out of it besides I mean, look, when you think about it, right? 48 laws of power says court attention at all costs. Any attention is good attention. So, I think that what we're seeing is someone who is literally trying to cling to his I guess what's the best way to say it? He's trying to cling to his status, I guess you would say, or his influence, his ability to to stay in the limelight, his ability to rile people up, his ability to make people feel good or bad. So I think that Kanye is an interesting guy. I think that I I wouldn't recommend anybody to follow in his footsteps as far as the things that he's saying. But I also I support free speech. I'm not necessarily a free speech absolutist, but I do respect free speech. And I believe that people should be allowed to say what they want within reason. I mean, Kanye isn't hurting anybody. He's not hurting anybody. He's not harming anybody. He's not, you know what I mean? S- I haven't seen nothing that would even fall. I well, I mean, mm, but yeah, just thinking about some of this stuff, it's like you can't even show some of the stuff he was saying without even affecting your monetization. You know what I mean? Like some of the stuff, it's just wild. It is. I mean, I'm just gonna be honest. It is wild, but I think that it's a teachable moment for people because at the end of the day, Kanye, for all his brilliance, he shows you that you're never too rich to crash out. You're never too rich, and that's what I would deem it. I would deem this as a crash out, but you'll never realize it. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So I mean, I don't know. What do I know though? What do I know? I don't know. I ain't nobody.